Low quality fans of a high quality playoff team, whomever that playoff team may be. Welcome back and welcome to the Stars versus the Avs series preview. As you can see, I am a diehard Sharks fan today. Let's talk a little bit about this series, but before we do, I want to remind everyone to please join the bracket challenge listed below. You can win a free jersey. Woot woot! Also, just a few things about the way I do these previews. First of all, I focus far more on the 3 or so months leading up to the playoffs. Most of the data I'll use will be focused on that. I think it gives a better snapshot of where a team is in most cases. The advanced analytics are from naturalstattrick.com unless I said otherwise, so feel free to check them out. Home ice means next to nothing to me outside of the extreme cases like the Canes, and then predictions at the end are not that much of a reflection of team performance. I have always used math and numbers to do my predictions, and I've found that I don't enjoy it that much, and I'm still bad at it. So I'm going off my gut, but that will be part of the discussion when I talk about those predictions anyway. So let's talk about the Jets. I almost said the Jets, the Stars, and the Avs. The Avalanche went 2-1-0 against the Stars in the regular season. But again, I don't think those matchup numbers really mean all that much for the playoffs. I mean, I remember 2013, the Penguins swept us in the regular season, and then it did not work that way in the playoff series at all. So, the Avalanche leading up to the playoffs. They are a playoff lock for quite a while. This is always going to be a team that was favored to contend for the Cup while McKinnon and Makar were healthy. There wasn't much drama leading up to the playoffs for them. They didn't go on a crazy heater to end the season like the Blues, and they didn't melt down for 6 weeks while injuries and the very heavens conspired against them like the Devils. Get it? Anyway, so since February 1st, they remained a top 10 team in the standings, going 19-8-2, had the best power play in the league at 32.5%, and were 9th and 2nd in goals for and goals allowed, respectively, with a 12th ranked penalty kill. There really isn't much concern about any one area of their game. This is like a really easy preview to do for the Avalanche because it's just not much to talk about. Not only all those stats looking good, but at 5-on-5 through the last 10 weeks, they sit 7th in goals for percentage at 57%, and 4th in expected goals for percentage at 55%. That's pretty close. A lot of these teams have a lot of variance between what their actual output is and what their expected output is. Again, from naturalstattrick.com. But the Avs are right in line with it, which really makes you just kind of think sustainability. Now, of course, talent levels and structure, team pace, everything like that plays different roles in this. So there are some teams with massive outliers that it just doesn't matter that much because you're not expecting them to completely change the way they play after a whole year of playing like that. The results should typically follow in line with it. But through small portions of the season, sometimes there are outliers. And you sit there and go, wow, this has really changed the way I look at the team, when it shouldn't, because they are so far and above doing better than expected, or worse, for that matter. The Avalanche do have the best player in the matchup with Nathan McKinnon. Or Cale Makar. Take your pick. They have the best 2 players in the series. And I genuinely don't think it's that close. And I love this Dallas team. I really do. If you wanted to try to find a weakness, I guess you could point to Blackwood's 0 playoff minutes. He's never started a playoff game. But I'd appreciate it if you'd also point to his .912 save percentage and top 10 rankings in save percentage, goals allowed, average, and shutouts. Blackwood's been really good this year. I think when the lights are bright, sometimes I can mess with you, but the dude's been nails. On Dallas's side, the lead up to the playoffs for Dallas is a bit different. Again, working off of the last 10 weeks of the season, their overall record was good. 17, 10, and 4 over the last 31. But a 7-game losing streak going into the playoffs is, I'd call that not a great sign. But it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a team lose the large majority of their last 10 games and go on a deep playoff run. I'm sure Tampa did it a few years ago as well. Through those final months, though, they still ranked 4th in goals scored, 6th on the power play, 16th on the penalty kill, and 16th in goals allowed. Losing Heiskanen obviously was a massive blow for them. They would be for any team losing your number 1 defenseman. And the recent injury to Robertson just compounds on that. There is a roadmap for Heiskanen playing in this series, potentially by Game 4. But will he be 100%? Doubt it. I don't think I'd put money on it. And Robertson will be out at least until the second round. So, again, Not great. It also seems to have disrupted a fairly impressive Ottinger season, who was posting a .921 save percentage at 5-on-5 until February and fell all the way back to .902 in the 10 weeks since then. The underlying numbers are just ugly leading up to the playoffs. Since February 1st, the Stars rank 29th in expected goals for percentage with a measly 46% at 5-on-5. That means at 5-on-5, they are underwater. Most teams are expected to outscore them. The only playoff team to rank lower in that regard is Toronto. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit with Toronto as well when I do that preview. But it's definitely a cause for a raised eyebrow. You definitely want to look at that going, that's not great, right? And based on the two explanations of each team leading up to this, I'm sure you're sitting there going, not great for Dallas. Just not a great time for Dallas. Avalanche just seemed really positive. Dallas seems really negative. I think there's a couple different important factors here. First of all, it's depth versus depth / Landeskog's return. If Stars fans need a way to have some faith, it's all about the offensive depth. They may not have McKinnon, but what they do have is, by my count, 8 forwards capable of impacting a game in a real way even after the Robertson injury. Rantanen, Hintz, Johnston, Duchesne, Sagan, Ben, Marchment, and Granlund have all had moments where they have shifted the balance of a game. Over a 7-game series, each player is going to have that chance multiple times, right? Colorado's no slouch offensively, but they cannot puff their chest out quite like Dallas can when it comes to offensive depth. McKinnon is obviously a game breaker. Nichushkin, Necas, Lehkonen, and Nelson all help to create a fairly dominant top 6. After that, you have a bunch of good role players. You do. But some of them will have to step up to match up with one of the best top 9s in the league. You just need that. Their third line against a healthy Dallas squad's third line would get mostly demolished. Now, of course, I know it doesn't always work that way. Don't go first, second, third. So the Stars are going to have their chance to try to work this the way, well, the Avalanche are going to have their chance to kind of work this the way they need to, especially with the Robertson injury, which does make it a top 8 instead of a top 9 for them. By God. Is that Landeskog's music? If he comes back, and if he's 70% of his old self, a huge ask after 3 years off, this series may be unwinnable for Dallas, given the injuries. His arrival would give the Avs just a little more juice to match up how they want to with Dallas. Because Landeskog, excellent defensively, was a fantastic defensive forward. Now, of course, his true value was in his offensive game, but that's part of the game that I think is going to be harder to come back this quickly from taking so much time off. But defensively, he was really strong. And if he can jump in on that third line and just be another presence that helps prevent Dallas's depth from doing what they want to do, all of a sudden, the game breakers are on Colorado's side. It's really difficult for that depth to outplay those game breakers. That's a tough ask for Landeskog, obviously, but it's big. It's big. Big off. Big if. Big off. Big if. But it would be soul crushing for the Stars if he came back. Goaltending? I said I wasn't going to try to use this for every preview, but I'm kind of not even using it here. It's not that important of a factor because I can't believe I'm saying this. Blackwood has been so good this year that goaltending might be a wash in this series at best for Dallas because Blackwood's looked better than Ottinger this year. Ottinger has had highs and lows, clearly affected by the players in front of him, the health, I should say. Typically, you'd still say he's an advantage, but even with Blackwood's zero experience, I struggle to look at him as a lesser goalie than Ottinger this year. He's been that consistent and that good night in and night out. Ottinger's been great this year. Don't get me wrong. He's I think in the top 5 in goals saved above expected. He's up there. But Blackwood's been stellar, and he's going to have more defensive support if Heskinen's not back. I don't know if goaltending's really that much of an advantage for Dallas in this one. Really, the biggest important factor is, well, the injuries, but Dallas's defense. Because if Heiskanen can come back by game 3 or 4 and be good, then we have a much different series on our hands. Had they been fully healthy, Dallas, I mean, we still would have talked about a third pair that would be some combination of Lyubushkin, Ceci, and Dumba. That's not playoff caliber. No matter what you're playing, like you can shelter a third pair fairly well in the playoffs, but those three players have not been good enough this year. And we talked about it going into the season. That right side with Dumba and with Cece, not good. Not good. That's just, Dumba was an absolute mess last year. A mess. I didn't like the signing. I didn't understand. I really didn't understand what they were doing there. Without Heiskanen, this turns into a second pairing problem too, right? It's not something where you just get to rely on Harley and Lindell and you have Heiskanen and your top four is basically solidified and you're protecting your third pair. No, now it bleeds into the second pair. Typically, a replacement level third pair won't be the main reason for a lost series. A struggling second pair will. 100% they will. There's a lot to fear about that. These injuries are massive for Dallas. So my prediction. Look, I want to be real with you guys. I like to keep it real. On my bracket, I have the Stars moving on. This is the one I need to defend the most, right? I said in the beginning, every year I do all the math and studying and then make my bracket, and I'm like, I'm so smart. I know what I'm doing. My bracket implodes anyway. All of ours do, by the way. No one's just great at this. It's just bullshit. So, I'm just going with my gut. And my gut, for some reason, is sitting there going, I don't know why, but I just think Dallas has something here. Wyatt Johnston is what they have. He won me my fantasy playoffs, so I'm going with Wyatt Johnston. I bought a jersey, well, I won a jersey. Johnston jersey from the fantasy team. I got it in his honor. So I'm going to run with the Stars. If you asked me to put money on it, I'd spit in your mouth. Spit in your face. Apparently spitting in your mouth is flirting. So, face. Stars in 6, baby. Let's ride! And of course, here at the end of the video, I love to give some shout outs to the fantastic high quality inspectors who help support the channel and keep this running. I super appreciate every single one of you, from the role player tier, the top line tier, and of course the all-star tier. We are going to do our shout outs for this top line tier. Thank you so much to Sean Kreider, Michael Kammerer, Chris and Erica, Kevin Timperley, Quackin' Platypus, JM, Smoke Channels, Shaggy, Adam Ella, Albert Waldron, Negev79, Lola Cattingsworth, EKM Productions, Moonlighter TV, Big Bad Bruin, The Bugman, Jeff with a G, Tommy Braga, Roland22, GD Viperworks, Len Kreutz, Brock Nope, Han Slobo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. Your top line material. But now we got to move on to our all-star tier members, the absolute legends. We have Jacob Pratt, Jake Brower, Dampen, JG's 12, Mark S., Ann Hustis, Tim R., Lorenzo Wood, Penny Pasta, Levi Catalani, Boston Stringler, Bagel, Nightmare Eco, John Kirk, Joel, Stealthy Potato, Heil E. Coyote, Darren Woodbury, Abraxion, Wolf Warrior, Vinny, Adrian Winter, Tupton D. Tashi, Bruin Smash, D.A. Kingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Dutes42, and Jeremy. Thank you all for all of the support and love that you are all giving. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, go Bees!